Welcome to Acts Christian Church, where you're the head and not the tail.
This is the year of the family.
Welcome to our community engagement program. This is a part 2 on the financial services. And as you can see in the studio, we have some very dear people to me, which is Bridget and Mike Hosannah. And I've known them for many years, dealing with the financial institution and the services that they do offer to the community. And I brought them in just to talk to us and to give us more idea of how we can align ourselves to understanding pensions, mortgages, and so forth. But look, if you'd watched the last part 1, we had Aaron Tyson, who spoke to us about mortgages and pensions. What we're going to be doing in this section is we're going to be talking more about mortgage protection and why must our mortgages be protected? Sounds obvious, but we're going to get the facts and the figures. Thank you so much, Bridget.
Well, thank
Mike,
you for having us.
pioneers
Yes,
in this
thank you,
industry for many, many years. And I'm really grateful that you're able to be here to talk to us on this particular subject, mortgage protection. What is that and why is it essential?
So picking up from where Aaron finished, mortgage liability and mortgage debt is probably going to be one of the biggest debts most of us would have in our lifetime.
Yes.
And for that reason alone, it is really important to have it protected. We can do that. We protect it in 3 ways, actually. In the event of death is an obvious one, but we can protect it in the event that you would have a critical illness, and we can also protect in the event of an income loss. So we do income protection to cover your mortgage. And that's necessary because if you became off sick, so this is not if you are dead or you've had a critical illness, but if you became off sick, I'm not sure how long your employer would pay you for.
That's right.
But more importantly, if you're self-employed, then you've got no income coming, and your mortgage still has to be paid.
That's right.
But the mortgage-related costs as well, your utility bills, cost of living, everything else has to be covered, and that's where an income protection can come in and help you. So we would cover the mortgage and your related costs in that way.
Is that explained to us when we initially the mortgage? Is that something the advisor would also advise us to make sure that we've got?
Yes, so mortgage
protected?
advisors do advise people about this. Most people, because when you get a mortgage for the first time, obviously their focus is mortgage, and the emphasis on making sure that they can pay their mortgage, which is great. But paying your mortgage, as long as you have good health and you have a job and an income, is a good scenario to be in. But what we do is then, and that's what the mortgage advisor will explain to them when they go to mortgage, is in the event that you are not well, or you should die, or you are unable to work because of long-term illness or even a disability, injury, the mortgage still has to be paid.
Yes.
And that is where we do show them some figures initially, and then that's picked up after the mortgage completes.
So this is essential. So getting the mortgage is one, but having it protected must go hand in hand.
It's very important.
And that's something that you wouldn't leave out of a consultation or with the advisor not hearing.
No, they go together.
Excellent. You heard that here right now. I think it's important. I think what you've just said makes sense. Nicely moves me on to the whole of life policy. People might think, what is that? Whole of life insurance cover. What does that entail, whole of life?
Well, the whole of life, it's policies are done in based on the term that it's going for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have a policy can go for 10 years, 20 years, to retirement, and the whole of life is the last one that you're likely to get.
Does that run alongside with the mortgage?
That's one. Well, it can also go in line with the mortgage.
Right.
But the situation is the whole of life, separated from the mortgage, it covers you, as it says, the whole of life, the rest of your life.
So what's in there? What can that whole of life do for us if somebody takes that? Is that a separate policy to the policy of protecting the mortgage?
Yes. So the whole of life policy is a policy that doesn't go to a term, so it's for the rest of your life, and it's guaranteed to pay out. It's the one policy that's guaranteed to pay out. So we usually use it to cover funeral costs.
Boy, that's so important.
And also, the proceeds of it can be used to cover any liabilities on death, like probate. Some people use it to cover inheritance tax issues. You know, I mean, it won't cover all of it, but at least there'll be something there to cover some of it. So yes, the whole of life is used for that.
And you would say it's very important?
Yes, because the proceeds, whole of life policies can be expensive. But if it's worked out, it's where, you know, we can work out the costing. You know, throughout the life, it's something that is guaranteed to pay out for the children to use to cover, as I said, funeral costs, leave a legacy for the family, cover any inheritance tax issues. The main thing with the whole of life is also, I mean, we put all our policies in trust, but with the whole of life policy, well, say if you did 100,000 cover for when you die, that 100,000 is put into trust, and when death occurs, that money is then accessible to for the family to use. It's almost an instant thing because it takes it away from your estate. It doesn't form part of your estate because the trust was put into place. And that money is, you know, the insurance company pays out on death. So you don't have to wait for the will to be read, for probate to be filed or anything. It's money that you can have easy access to by putting it in trust.
Bridget, can I just talk about that a little bit more, maybe from both of you, the importance of setting up a trust and how it protects you from anything else that may want to put their hands on that money. How essential, how important is it for us to set up a trust?
Well, trusts around insurance policies are very important because the policy is there so that it can go into the right hands at the right time when they need it the most. And that's obviously in the event of death.
Like an executor would make sure that it's...
Yes, so we'd have an executor or two executors or trustees as we call them. And then the beneficiaries can also be named on the trust.
Great.
So the money on death is available for the family to benefit from. The good thing is also it's instant. In other words, as soon as the death certificate is produced, the money is released to the family, the trustee. And then the other important thing is that money from the insurance policy proceeds doesn't form part of the estate.
So that means
so the taxman can't get their hands on it.
Yeah. Did you hear that?
So that's the reason. And we put all our policies into trust. So as soon as the policy is written, it goes into trust, and so the money is secure.
What's the tax levy on any inheritance tax or money coming?
No, on insurance policies there isn't. I mean, there is a limit on how much life cover you can do.
Oh.
Yeah, and how much critical illness you can do, but I mean it's 500,000 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
But at the end
a
of
lot.
the day,
Yeah.
it all comes down to what you want to spend.
Of course, it's the cost is involved.
See?
Yeah.
That's right.
And this is where initially, when we did the fact find, This tells you all that's there. But at the end of the day, it's the budget.
And who advised? Are we back to the advisor? But in our first program, we're talking the importance of the advisor. Is it the advisor would advise if this is what's going to be in coming back on death, that we would advise you secure it in trust?
Yes.
It's the advisor
Yes.
that would...
The advisor, because
Yes.
that's the advisor's job. That's the role. And
Now,
it's very, very important.
It's really important because you're covering yourself for, some people do 200,000-300,000. Now you don't want that 200,000-300,000 to form part of your estate, because then you're going to get taxed on it. That's where the inheritance tax would come in. So to take it out of the estate, that's the reason for doing this policy. So that money becomes accessible to the family. No wills read, no probate filed, nothing. This money is immediately available to the family.
But when you consider also
It's
that
amazing.
with inheritance tax, now obviously once you have a certain amount of assets, at the end of the day the taxman will want his cutback.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why we put all our policies in trust, when you consider that your estate has a certain value.
Yes.
And whatever that value is, the taxman wants 40% of it.
How many people know that? How many
I think
people actually
are
know
becoming
that?
more and more aware of inheritance tax issues. But I don't think the message is out there clearly, and it is up to advisors like us to make people aware of it. So what we really do try to do when we do, like Aaron would do the mortgage and pension advice and everything, and we would do the protection, we also give them a little insight as to, because at that stage we would know what the estate is valued at, and the insurance policies that they have. Insurance wouldn't matter because we'd put it into trust, so it wouldn't form part of the estate. But then we would say, if we spot an inheritance tax issue, we would definitely make them aware of it.
Good.
Because if you think that, each person has their 325 and then the 175, it's 500,000 each.
Yeah.
And after that, unless the rules change on this for the moment, it's up to $1 million for a couple.
Wow.
Anything over that is taxed at 40%. Do you really want the taxman to get the money when you work so hard? Yeah.
But it sounds also that it's a lot of money. But what people don't realize, like with your mom and dad, people who inherit family property, when the house was bought originally, it could be something like about 50,000, 100,000. That house today is valued in excess, probably $1 million plus.
Yeah.
Well, when you consider that no one had expected that to be the position, but at the end of the day, if there's an inheritance tax value on it, and you have to pay the tax on 40%. Yeah. And that's the reason why it is very, very important for us to do the planning.
Inheritance tax planning.
And so that you're no longer in the picture, you're gone, but your family is the ones
left behind and pick up the slack.
Have to pick up the slack.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, if you care about your family,
Yeah.
you'll make sure that at the end of the day.
So it's education, isn't it? It's education.
Education.
It is.
And this is where, Bishop, so alongside the inheritance tax issue, this is where, of course, everyone needs to make a will, and I think a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
But this is where also the LPAs come into play, the legal powers of attorney for finance and wealth, because if someone has that authority, then on your death, they can look after and manage your estate. If they don't have that, then they'd have to wait for the will to be read and everything else before they can manage all that.
And then maybe if those financial planning is not in place, then people would have to take the money out of their own pocket.
Yes, yes. And this is where
If you have it.
And this is where the whole of life policy can come into play. So after the funeral costs are sorted out, whatever is left, filing probate is worked out on the value of your estate.
Yes.
So that can be quite expensive, and a
and
percentage, lengthy of course, and a percentage of that has to be paid up front before the taxman will start looking at things. So family need to have this kind of money available to them immediately to do to offset all these costs. And if children don't have this, they have to wait for the solicitor to sort out the estate and everything, or the costing goes to the estate.
Can I ask
and it's
you
taken
both
out from there.
On this subject? Always gripes me because I always talk about, especially about having a power of attorney on board to ensure that your affairs are sorted out. Have you seen from the community, with all the work that you're doing to educate, a shift where people are now realizing these things are important?
People
are you seeing a difference?
Yes, people are realizing it. Yeah, and also I think, I don't know if you heard of Kate Galloway. When her husband was not well during COVID, she was a champion. She spoke a lot about the legal powers of attorney, and also her not being able to do a lot because she hadn't put that in place when Derek got ill. Yes, and she made a big public announcement about saying, people, please try and get this sorted out on television. It's there, people have become more aware of it.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
But also, Bishop, what we do ourselves within my Hosannah Associates, we do things as a program. Now, I have been in the industry over 45 years. Now, my very, very first client, he's still my client. Still doing business with him, and also with his family.
That's nice.
Now, the situation there is, one of the reasons why we work a program is that people think, well, you're too 18, you're too young to have an insurance policy. It isn't. Because you have something there that is linked with savings and with critical illness.
And it's cheaper too.
And it's cheaper also. The best time to get it.
Yes.
But the situation is that with the stages, you go to get a mortgage.
You can use
the policies, we do the policy to cover the mortgage. But the situation is, at the end of it all, when you retire, now obviously, people think you no longer require any insurance, but you do need it, and that is where the whole of life comes in.
Yeah.
That is where we would advise on an whole of life policy someone over 50. There's no point in doing an whole of life for someone in their 30s.
Younger,
No, because you can say that it's cheaper.
Yes.
But the situation
there's
is
no need.
There's no need for that.
Okay.
Because there are other things that's required.
So you would never, if they said, I want another, because I know it's cheaper, but I want a whole life insurance, you would say, it's not that we can't do it, but there's other things that are more pressing that you should be dealing with at this moment. But leave it until about
in 50s.
Okay.
Because that's when the need is more. And also most people by that time, or more towards 60, would have more or less paid off their mortgages.
Okay.
Kids are grown up.
Their debts are less, so they can utilize some of that money that they were paying towards covering their funeral costs and all kinds of things.
Because if you have a mortgage,
more accessible,
the mortgage goes over 25 or 35 years. At the end of that term, mortgage is paid off, so that money is freed up. And that is where we will now advise to put that money into a whole of life, so that comes into play.
Well, I welcome you both, and also in the previous program with Aaron talking about financial planning. I would say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I think this goes hand in hand, as I always say, my corporate responsibility in bringing the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I've seen many people in financial situations, especially when it comes on to death, and they're running around like headless chickens. Could you loan me this? Can you loan me that? We haven't got this. Or trying to keep up with the Joneses and do the most elaborate funeral, knowing that they're going to be most likely paying for it for the rest of their lives. Only if they took time and listened to great advisors, like we had on in part one, Aaron, who's there to show them things they would never have known if they took the courage to go and sit and share and give the right information. they could look back in years to come, if something happened, that at least they could have said, yeah, at least I planned for this.
Yeah.
And my family's not left. Who knows? It could be whatever is left for them is able for them to build something
Exactly.
as an estate for the family going forward.
Yeah. And that is why within Mike Hosannah Associates, we do the complete package.
Yes.
Because you have Aaron there that does pension mortgages, investments, and Bridget and I, we're the ones that does the protection, the general insurance. So it's a case where all our clients, they come and it's a package that is done because we go from the beginning right down to the end.
End of life. I'm going to take this opportunity right now. I'm sure a lot of information. I just want you to just look into this camera and just to tell them where you're located, your opening hours, and I've been, and you'll always, get a warm welcome. So this is your opportunity. Tell them where you are, what you do, and how they can locate you.
We're Mike Hosannah Associates. It's the three of us. Aaron does the pension, mortgages, investments, and we do the protection and general insurance. But there is a complete package. We are based in Tooting Broadway, and we've been there, believe it or not, 45 years.
Well, in the same?
No, 35 years.
35 years. Yeah.
That's still
35
good.
years in the same location.
Continuity to me speaks
35
volumes.
years.
Yeah. But it's a situation there you can get in touch with us.
Oh yes, we are available on Google. You can find us on Google. We have a website, mikehosannahAssociates.com. We have a work number which is on the screen. And of course, if you can't find any of that, you can contact us through Bishop.
Yeah. Well, I think all I'm left to do is really thank you both. You are family members to us and to my family as well. We are really grateful. We've learned on the journey. And why don't you also learn on this journey? Pick up the phone. If you love this program, watch it again. Make the contacts. You can see in the backdrop the name fully there. It's Michael Hosannah Associates, Bridget, Mike, and we had Aaron on early in the last program. We need to take some care and financially look at where we are and say, you know what, I need to put my house in order.
And Bishop, if you may add, our advice, it doesn't cost you anything, right? If you're getting a mortgage or you're doing a pension, then obviously there's a cost involved there. But it's a situation where their initial meeting is always free. So there's no cost, okay?
There you go. No cost, just to make sure that your life is aligned. Thank you for joining us, and please watch this program, share it. Please share it with people that you may feel this could change their lives. Thank you for joining us, and remember, you are the head and not the tail.
Thank you, Bishop.
Christian Church, where you're the head and not the tail.